Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And yes, I do look very different. I did get my hair cut, I got it darkened, I got my bangs back. I know that for the YouTube side of things, I've never had bangs, but I have lived most of my life with bangs, so this isn't as big of a change for me as I know it most likely will be for a lot of you guys. I am here for it. Hopefully, this doesn't throw you off too much. I do know when I stopped wearing glasses, it threw some people off, so I do expect this to also take place. So my apologies if I don't look the same anymore and you missed that. But I digress. I'm very excited to be able to take a look at this. This is going to be ATEEZ's work after party. I know that this was originally shown for a premium feature, and I don't think it was a live recording is what the live chat was saying. They also didn't have a translation in play at this point in time, but we do have a CC for English on this, so we'll be able to take a look at it. I normally don't look at interviews extensively, but this one, because it specifically pertains to choreography, I thought it would be really fun to take a look at here, and because work is technically San's choreography debut. So I'm excited to see that celebrated and more thorough talks about the logistics of it as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Love it. Willy Wonka. Did I dress up like Mingy in a fur coat and call myself Macklemore Mingy? Yes, I did. Don't regret it at all. Probably one of the best decisions I made that day. Love it. Still feel that way. Gotta work. So they're showing all the teasers, it looks like. Hello. They make it sound like they don't have a comeback every month. It's what it feels like, right?
비교적으로 안무 얘기를 저희가 좀 많이 못했으니까 좀 어떤 좀 재밌는 기억에 남는 안무 이제 뭐 비하인드가 있나요?
저희 또 그 링기 파트에서 저희가 또 이렇게 짝짝꿍을 하잖아요.
그렇죠.
그런 거 할 때 되게 뭔가 안무적으로 너무 재밌지만 저희끼리도 흥이 나가지고
I wonder if they hit each other on accident.
하는 게 되게 너무 재밌었던 것 같아요.
저는 짝꿍이 홍준이 형이거든요. 네, 짝짝꿍 할 때 홍준이 형이 가끔씩 웃긴 표정을 지을 때가 힘이
아 그래요? 그 지키면서 확인해봐도
제가 아주 기쁘게 해줍니다.
아 진짜요?
보도 못한 그런 표정을 죠.
지킴에서는 쉽지 않지 않을까요?
그럼 얼빡 가야 되는데.
그리고 사실 그 LA에서 저희가 또 제이블레이즈
Yeah, J-Blaze.
네, 사실 좀 이제 저희가 이제 여기 한국에서 이제 BBT 형들이랑 같이 좀 안무를 카피를 해서 이제 연습을 하고 갔는데 또 실제로 이제 잔이 제이블레이즈한테 배우니까 또 느낌이 달랐잖아요.
Yes.
어땠어요?
진짜 뭔가 그 안무가한테 직접적인 안무를 또 배우고 또 그분의 또 바이브를 또 분수를 또 받다 보니까
맞죠.
확실히 배우기 전과 배우기 후에 제 영상을 또 봤더니 많이 다르더라고요.
와우.
진짜 많이 그로업이 됐다.
업그레이드.
저희 안에도
They really have. Yes, you do. Sun.
산이가 창작한 안무 그 부분 살짝 보여주세요.
Show us. I've also learned Suns.
여기서 약간 튕기고 저거 던져가지고 영상에 나와가지고 이걸 딱
짱짱짱.
See, look at that fixed point. Look at that fixed point he did. Come on.
좀 표현한 거예요 거기서.
여기서 되게
He hits the syncopation like pretty well.
인원수라고
He hits different parts of it.
이렇게 하고 뭔가 아이솔레이션 같은 거를 뭔가 정확하게 분리를 해서 8명이 일사불란하게 깔끔하게 움직이면 어떨까 하는 생각이
약간 책상에서 살짝 옆으로 이동할
이런 부분을 좀 재밌게
고정돼 있고
Yep.
비트 있게 또 형들한테 보내드렸었는데 형들도 이 부분이 너무 마음에 든다고 하셨어가지고
저도 사실 처음 그 이 안무를 봤을 때 뭔가 약간 그 상상할 수 없는 그러니까 이 약간 비트에서 상상하지 못한 그 결에
갑자기 죽이는.
딱 안무가 나오는 걸 보고 와.
Which
이거
works
진짜
really well with the rest of the choreo.
재미가 있죠. 그리고 저희가 안무를 이제 또 시안을 처음 받았을 때
그쵸.
멤버들끼리도 정말 많은 얘기를 했잖아요. 근데 전 좀 감명 깊었던 게 저희 멤버들끼리가 어쨌든 처음 하는 결의 안무지만 우리가 이번에 또 한 번 도전을 해보자라는 그 멤버들의 그 시도하는 자세가
맞아요.
너무 약간 감명 받아가지고 저도 이번에 정말 열심히
맞아요.
준비를 했던 것 같아요.
그리고 이번에 동선도 되게 좀 독특한 동선이 많았잖아요.
신기한 거
저희가 그 이제 제이블레이즈가 보내준 그 이제 그 팀에서 보내준 그 안무 동선 그대로 구현을 하기 위해서 노력을 많이 했는데
한번 시한 영상 그대로.
네 시안이 형서 그대로 근데 정말 그 이동 동선을 처음에 하면서는 이거 맞아? 이게 되는 거야? 하면서 했는데 지금은 또 너무 자연스럽게 우리가 하고 있잖아요.
쉴 틈이 없다.
저는 감히 말씀드리지만 저의 에이티즈만이 할 수 있는 멋이지 않을까.
그러면 에이티즈의 멋인 이 안무 2절이 또 민기 씨가 또 센터잖아요.
그렇죠.
2절 안무를 살짝 튜토리얼처럼 살짝 알려줄 수 있어요? 이 안무는 저희가 이름을 미리 붙여놨잖아요.
짝짝꿍춤이죠.
네, 그러면 이 안무를 성환 씨가 같이 좀 보조해 주실까요?
여기에서 이제 no 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 차를 딱 해줍니다.
네.
gotta work 하면서 손으로 쳐주시면 돼요. gotta work.
Gotta work.
gotta work.
Gotta work.
네, 이렇게
You toss it the other way.
뒤로 먼저.
네.
오른쪽으로 가면 앞으로 먼저.
하고 그 다음이 중요하죠. 돌아서 짝짝짝. 이게 제일 포인트 안무거든요.
그렇죠. 여기
See, this would have helped if I was when I was learning his section,
여기까지만 보여드릴까요?
but I really, really liked it. It's still fun. Like it's a fun choreo. It's a purr.
gotta work, gotta work, gotta make that money, make purse.
Yes.
있죠. 그러면은
This purr part is the reason why I learned that section because of this. I call it a petty rack, a petty groove. The purr stance.
춤을 이제 우영 씨랑 사실 또 우리 메인 댄서들이 좀 보여줄까요?
Look at San being called a main dancer.
형은 또 형의 스타일이 또
그래서
있으니까.
두 분의 스타일로 한번 보겠습니다. 자,
They got some really nice dress bands.
Hey, gotta work, gotta make that money, make purse.
Ah, so they tuck it.
네, 좋네요. 네, 이렇게 하는 안무.
네, 이렇게
이건 좀 약간
설명하기 힘들어요.
그러니까 설명하기가 어렵고
어렵습니다.
좀 약간 멋을 내고 싶다.
근데
하면은
뭐 이게 틀이 정해져 있지 않고
맞아요.
그냥 우리 안무를 보시고 저런 느낌이구나만
제
보시고
생각에 이걸 굳이 안 해도 그냥 이렇게 지나가다가 그냥 들어서 너 뭐 하는 거야? 이래? gotta work.
오케이.
그런 느낌.
There's a little pep in your step, is how I would call that.
그런 게 있어요. 지갑춤이 된 배경이 뭐예요? 왜 지갑춤이지?
지갑.
이게 딱 지갑을 이렇게 지갑을 이렇게 딱.
이렇게 지갑을 넣는다. 저 지금 알았어요.
아 그래요?
지갑보다는
It's like a clutch. Or putting it in your pocket.
네,
근데 저희 멤버들이 추는 것도 봤지만 우리 에이튼이가 항상 이제
너무 궁금해.
사이즈도 찍어주고 너무 궁금해.
너 춤을 너무
궁금해. 에이튼이의 승관이도 너무 궁금합니다.
궁금해.
그리고 많이 써주세요. 이번에 안무를 맞출 때도 뭔가 디테일하게 칼군무도 되게 중요하지만.
I mean, I did about as many challenges for this one like I did for 17s because they had a couple different takes for Maestro and I did most of those. So this was fun. I love a good comeback, not gonna lie. They feel good, makes me want to do it, learn all the different styles.
하기에는 워크의 안무를 색깔로 표현하면 무슨 색인가요?
Gold. Right?
파란보가 다 섞인 것 같아요.
와우. 무지개
Rainbow? Cool, that works too.
추는 멤버들의 매력도 다 다르고.
여상 씨는 어떤 매력을 담당하고 있어요?
저요?
그러니까 색깔 말고 그냥 여상 씨는 어떤 매력을 담당하고 있습니까?
저는 조금 특이하고 깔끔한 매력.
특이하다.
Unique in the K-pop scene, for sure. Very nice.
좋습니다.
고마워요.
네, 어쨌든 뭔가 이렇게 좀 다채로운 매력이 있는 안무인 것 같은데 사실 그 저희도 처음 안무를 할 때부터 되게 재밌게 한 이제 입장으로서 뭔가 에이티니 분들도 많이 따라해 주셨으면 좋겠고 종호 씨가 이제 마무리 전에 좀 이 그 오늘 안무 얘기를 쭉 했는데 좀 하고 싶은 얘기가 있나요?
일단은
안무 이번 안무 너무 힘들어요.
솔직한 거
연기하죠
아니 저는 솔직히 말해서 이거 처음 봤을 때 이 정도일 줄 몰랐거든요.
저도 그랬어.
저도요.
네.
막상 들어가 보니까
이게 왜냐면 보이는 이미지는 뭔가 게릴라가 더 힘들 것 같은데 이거에 또 힘듦이 완전 하체를 많이 쓰는 운동들이 많아서 춤들이 많아갖고
운동 같아요.
네, 운동
그러면 여정 씨부터
Let me actually pause it because some people may be like, this one's harder. So what he's meaning, if I could kind of reframe what he's saying, is that, so gorilla, I've also learned gorilla. So this is actually, I have an empathetic physical lens of this. If you haven't seen my take on gorilla, it's because it's not released yet on YouTube, but it is on Patreon. So, what's interesting in the textures and posture demands of gorilla, there's so many like quick speed changes, not speed change going from fast to slow, but there's a lot of these very rigid usage of your core to get a lot of these choices. Like there's a lot of this upper body connection that you can, if you really think about it, if people who are very familiar, like let's say a house dancer, is going to find whacking choreography to be more extensive or more difficult in comparison to, let's say, a whacker may find house choreo more difficult. It could be because of content and your posture, two completely different postures, different cultures of movement, different BPM ranges, things like that. But also, you can apply that to people who learn choreography. So in my case, I've tried my best to learn various BPMs, styles, fundamental styles, hybrid choreographies, hybrid meaning a choreographer's background of their dancing integrated into their perspective of movement to music, musicality, things like that. In my case, like I've said, the harder ones for me are going to be your more full out routines. Honestly, I think Psychers, they did a Tricky House. That one was one of the hardest ones for me to do. Even though some of the choices in isolation were fine, the connection of them were really hard for my body personally. And if I do a breaking choreo, it's harder too because my body is not as familiar with it. So Jungho makes a very valid point. They're technically a lot of times, which is very interesting to say, they do tend to use a lot of their upper body a lot more, and there's a lot of these tension builds and these isos and that kind of stuff, all the way from Pirate King, like from all the way from there, all the way to here, I mean, you do see a lot of heavy usage of arms and tension build in the torso. So their bodies are very familiar with that. In this case, with this one, this is that West Coast, for me, it gives a West Coast commercial scene of choreo, where like a lot of like the award shows in America, this is the kind of style that you would see a lot. I would say Afro's a really good style that you would also see pretty often, dance hall, but I rest my case. My point being is that he makes a very, very valid point of their bodies are not super used to this style, but my body is because of my personal background. So it was not necessarily harder for me, but I understand why it was harder for him, because you have to know what his body movement quality wise is used to and used to calibrating for when he is singing, right? And so I love the fact that he is honest, because we're able to have the discussion. And I always come from the place of don't dog or negate somebody's perspective or honesty on what they fall short in. And I'm not saying he's falling short in that. He's showcasing, hey, this is a weakness of mine. I'm not quite strong at this. Don't dog that, because you may feel that it doesn't feel that way for you. Just like a choreography of mine is going to be easy for me because it's fluent in my muscle memory. It may be very difficult for somebody else, and I have to remember that as a teacher. And that's kind of like a teacher mindset that I'm kind of, promoting in that way. So all that, I really like the fact we talked about it, because I think it's not talked about enough. They do have some pretty difficult choreo. Is this the most difficult choreo out of their discography? I personally don't think so, but he said this is very hard. For him, singing live, this is probably a very difficult choreo to do because of just the legato fullness of their grooves that they have to do, but also give it such personality and fullness, like what they're able to do for Gorilla and able to do for more of those powerful routines that they are used to doing like crazy for him as well.
본인이 생각하는 워크에 뭐 포인트 제스처나 안무 같은 걸 한 번씩 딱
자기
하고.
파트요, 자기 파트.
네.
자기 파트로.
좋아요. 자, 인서 씨는요?
I love when Yoonho does that. That's such a dope vibe from him. Yep. Stand, that part.
저 같은 경우는요, 저는 아무래도
Yes.
맞다.
Yes.
오케이.
Mingy's will probably be in course 2. I personally really like this one with the snake on the side. That one's a freaking dope. He hits it as his feature moment.
워크 말고 진짜 월크로.
That's a fun walk.
월크 말고 워크.
워크.
네, 약간
Walk.
그런 거. 네, 좋아요. 맞아, 민기 씨.
홍재 이게 예스죠?
네, 예스.
저는 그러면 예스.
Yes.
Yeah. His feature too.
좋습니다.
As it should be. They feel so comfortable in their features, which is super dope.
이렇게 해서 오늘 유튜브 애프터 파티 에이티즈 워크 이제 안무 비하인드를 좀 빡빡 채워봤고요. 네, 저희 워크 네, 많은 관심 부탁드립니다. 저희 그러면 이제 인사 드려볼까요?
네, 좋습니다.
그럼 지금까지 에이티즈였습니다. 둘, 셋.
에이티즈, 감사합니다.
Yay! Gotta work. Whoop! Really cool. Super nice. I mean, I know some people were potentially a little sad at the fact that this wasn't like a live, and I can totally understand that. But I mean, yay for premium for being able to, you know, offer something like this for members for YouTube. But also, I think it's cool that ATEEZ, you know, released it to where we could take a look at it in this way. This was fun. So I thought this would be a fun way to kind of end our inner video, taking a look at their moving version, work. I think it's like a basketball themed one, which I think is fun. And I do know a lot of times groups will come out with these types of fun variants of choreography. And so since, you know, I feel like it kind of goes on brand, I'm excited to watch it. Let's go ahead and check it out. Tokyo. What I do find interesting is that for cha-cha, they don't do any type of cha-cha posture or anything when they say that. Bum, 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 bum. But they do something a little bit more vibey here. Matches the track, so I get that. No, 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 no. That part is still really tricky to do with a ball change. And I think Mingy's the only one who does it the other way. So that's what I found fascinating too. I had to deal with your transition. I didn't catch that the first time. But while I was learning it, I realized it. I mean, most are in NBA. But then you have Yeolsung in a hockey jersey. That's funny. Jungho had a really nice vibe just then. That was really good. Gotta work. Very controlled in the upper body. Do you see that? Totally know he does that intentionally. He could go full out if he really wanted to, but because they sing live, he sings live, he has all this locked up. Stand. Sunny's part, let's go! Bah! Ding, ding. The hardest part for me for this section was not this part. Money make purse, not the fixed point, this part. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Because it's the arm position was really tricky for me to finish it off. This is old school. I mean, that was a cute thing to say. Was it old school? We all know no. But I really enjoyed seeing this, a fun little different perspective on it and them not taking it so seriously. I mean, of course the track I don't think is one where you do take aggressively seriously, but it does have a way more playful vibe here, which I really enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. I have done not one, but 2 different covers of this track specifically. Hopefully I'll have them in the end screens in these corners. I also will have a playlist of all of my actively released ATEEZ reactions. And then in another corner, I will have my Patreon link. If you're interested in wanting to get all access to everything I look at all times, that's a really good place to go. With ATEEZ, everything gets early release with them, like with any other piece of content that I look at. I am a dance analyst, just like choreographer, things like that. So if you like hearing about dance and hearing about why your group has grown from point A to point B, I'm your girl for it. I've really enjoyed ATEEZ. They were one of my first marathons I ever did. I have seen all of their movement quality progression from pre-debut up until their most recent work. Once again, my name is Jess, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.